So since we are now halfway through the season, I thought I would take a look at the signings that we made back in the summer, give my overall brief opinions on those, and then ultimately give my predictions for what's actually going to happen in January, as well as what signings I feel as though we need to make. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go through all the signings that we made back in the summer, just give my brief overview of whether or not I think they've actually been decent enough. So I think I'll probably start off with, I've got like 4 categories. I've got, first one is being signings that have been good or decent. I've got 3 players in this category. First one for me is Job. I think he's far and away our best signing that we made back in the summer. He's only one, in my opinion, who, one, has had consistent game time, and 2, actually made the most of it. 4 league goals already in that space of time. Brace against Rotherham back in August, and scored against Birmingham and also against Leeds. So he's done very well in front of goal, and overall in midfield. For a lad who's 17, 18 years old, it's just been like his actual football and head's been unreal. And to be fair, I've got no doubt about he's going to end up being as good as Jude in the future. Just fantastic from Job. Then we've got Jensen Seelt, albeit he hasn't exactly made many appearances, but I think compared to everybody else he has. And honestly, I think he's looked very good. As a right back, no, I mean to be fair, he did well against Hull as a right back, but against Rotherham as a right back, you could tell he just hasn't really got that full back mentality. He was hesitant to make overlap runs with Barr. As parts of that game, he's a centre back, but at the same time, that you're going to split up with 9 and Ballard at the minute, are you? So there's that. And the other player I think who's actually been decent is Adil Al-Shish. Again, hasn't exactly played loads, but he's probably got, I think, other than Job and Seals, made the most starts out of all of our new signings. He's only scored 1 goal against, and that was against Birmingham, but he looks creative. He's got a bit of, he's got that creativity which I think was lacking in our team at the minute. Although he does have the ability to go missing in games sometimes, there's definitely a player in there which, and to be fair, I think there's a pretty low bar with these new signings, to be fair. Now I've got 4 players who I've got down as have had limited game time but look promising. First we've got Nectar Triantis. Again, I think he's made more like 2 league appearances, also against Birmingham and I think it was Hull. He came on as a sub against. Again, he's hardly played, but he hasn't exactly put a foot wrong. Looked a little bit uncomfortable against Birmingham. I think that's just mostly because he's brought in last minute, and was with a centre back partnership we haven't really played with. But I mean, to be fair, when I've seen him play for the under 21, he hasn't looked too bad. So that's that. And he is a Mayander as well as another one who's only just come back from injury, at least recently, and he's a striker, but I think I can see him operating more as a winger, to be honest. But I mean, he hasn't exactly played much, as I mentioned, but I think he looks alright. Same with Nazari Ruzin. For me, out of the 4 strikers we've got, he's probably the best, which I mean doesn't really say a lot. But I had a little bit of a run towards the back end of October and early November. Hasn't really managed to get back in the team since he got a little injury. I don't know why he hasn't been playing, because for me, I think of our strikers, he's the one that actually plays the best as a striker. He's making good runs, he's getting himself in good areas. I don't know why he's not playing. I really don't. And the last one, Timothy Pembele, again, just hasn't. He literally made it his debut last night as a substitute. And honestly, didn't do too badly, to be fair. So, I've got nothing to go off Pembele. I've literally seen him play football for about half an hour, if that. So, there's that. I've got one signing who I think has had limited game time but hasn't looked great, and that's for me Nathan Bishop, who's brought in as as a more competitive player for Anthony Patterson. But to be fair, he hasn't exactly looked any better than what Alex Bass did last season. He's played once for the first team against Crewe in the cup, and he wasn't actually great then. I've seen him play for the under 21s. He just hasn't looked fantastic there, so I just don't really know what we're going to do with him. And then for me, I've got 3 signings who've just not been good enough. Bradley Dack, he literally only came in because he was only one who I think Mowbray had any real say over. got a goal against Southampton, but he's just fucking, he's a fat cunt. A bit harsh. He's just not fit whatsoever. Yeah, and he's got a shit haircut. He literally is known as ITV2's Bradley Dack on fucking Twitter. That's how much of an impact he's made. Mason Burstow as well just hasn't hit the grounds that was expected of him. Obviously on loan from Chelsea, you know, we're thinking, oh, he's going to be the next thing, like another Ahmad. Just has not been good enough whatsoever. He's very similar for me to Joe Gelhardt, where he's just not good on his own up front. Like, he needs to be playing in the front too. And to be fair, when him and Mayanda were up front against Birmingham, for the last 10 minutes, they actually looked more promising. But Burso, he just has not got that number 9 mentality, you know. Like, literally, last night, I can fresh in my head against Rotherham, where he spent more time marking the goalkeeper than actually getting some good areas. And he just, I don't know why, it felt as though he's one of the cuddled Johansson. That's what it felt like he did last night. He just doesn't have that number 9 mentality. And same for Hemia. And to be fair, I do feel a little bit bad for Hemia, because I will say he was mismanaged by Tony Mowbray. I will say that. And I said that in a previous video, I believe, as well. But you can just tell on the pitch, he just doesn't give a shit. Like, his attitude is absolutely appalling. And even for the under-21s as well, this has not been good enough whatsoever. And I get it, you know, he's a 19-year-old kid moving from Portugal to England. You know, he was given the number 9 shirt, which clearly had the idea that he was going to be our starting striker for the season. Had half played an hour against Ipswich and open did, just hasn't really gone back into the team since then. He just doesn't look like that striker we need. And yeah, to be fair, he just hasn't been good enough, really. So now I'm talking about my predictions for potential outgoings in January. Obviously, I've not got a Scooby-Doo of any incomings. You know, the only player really we've been hitting us, we've been looking at is Jay Stansfield. But again, whether that actually happens is a mystery. So in terms of outgoings, I think Mason Burstow will be sent back to Chelsea, especially if these Jay Stansfield rumours are true. Because what's the point having 5 strikers? 2 of them being on loan. I can just Burstow just send back to Chelsea, and yeah, just get him out the door. I do think Louis Hemia will be sent out on loan as well, maybe abroad. You know, for the second half of the season, just get him a bit of confidence back in his. He said, it's just, have a good half of the season on loan somewhere, get a couple of goals, come back in summer, and then prove your point. And I think that this one has been hinted at quite a lot. Jewison Bennett, albeit I'm pretty sure everyone wants him to stay. It looks as though maybe there has been a little bit of a falling out behind the scenes between him and the board, which is why he hasn't played with all this season, really. I mean, like last night against Rotherham was the first time he's actually been in the squad since the Southampton match back in September. But yeah, it does look like he's going to be going out on loan, which I think is a massive shame, because honestly, albeit I thought the bar was alright last night, I definitely would have brought on Jewison Bennett instead of him, but that's a big one for me. And I've got a slight feeling that there is going to be a big departure in this January transfer window. Obviously the big one in last window was obviously Ross Stewart. He went out, and obviously Danny Bott and the Goose already knew we were going to go anywhere. But Ross Stewart, he was a big departure last window. Obviously got 10 million for him, and obviously he's now been ruled out for the rest of the season. So clearly not a bad cash in there. In terms of who I think it will be, honestly, Jack Clark seems the most likely one, just because, well, he's the only player that's actually fucking doing anything at the minute. Once again, he got us out of bother. Maybe Patrick Roberts, but then again, his injury last night could mean he sticks around a bit more. I've thrown in Dan Ballard's name as well, but to be fair, I don't really see him going until the end of the season now, really, if he does go at all. So realistically, I think could be potential that Jack Clark could leave in January. Whether he goes to is a big mystery, but I do have a feeling that he will be going as well. And although I don't think he will be leaving in this window, I do have a feeling that Alex Pritchard will end up having a pre-agreement with somebody, probably in the Championship. I don't know who, but I don't see him sticking around, which is a big shame, because Pritchard again changed the game last time when he came out. He clearly is in a proper impact sub. He's, for whatever reason, just isn't favoured, which is a shame to see, but it is what it is. And finally, what signings do I think we need to be making in January? Well, I think for me, an actual left back would be handy because Dennis Serkin at the minute is made of fucking Weetabix. Niall Huggins is out for the rest of the season as well. He's not really a natural left back. So right now we've got fucking Trey Hume playing there with bloody Jensen Steele. It's just a fucking mess at the back. It really is. Well, not really, but we've got loads of players at our position. And to be fair, we need to bring in an actual left back for Dennis Serkin. And yes, I know Ajay Elise is back from his injury, so I imagine he'll probably be playing there once he's fully ready to go. But for me, I think we need an actual left-footed left back, and the same goes for an actual right winger. I'm sick of seeing fucking Abdullah Bar as a winger. He's clearly much more of a central player, whether that's a number 10 or whatever. But for me, also Roberts is going to be out for a little bit as well. Gonna need like an actual right winger, just not playing these fucking number 10 out of wings. It just isn't working. We need an actual right winger. But then, them two, I think those two positions we can afford to, maybe stick to the model we're bringing 2 younger players there. But for me, these next 2 positions have to be experienced players. A number 6, a defensive midfielder, Jan Villa. It's just not happening, to be fair. Like, I've already accepted this is not going to happen. I think after what happened with Defoe, I just don't think Speakman's will make that one last dance type fucking signing again. So, I mean, to be fair, it makes way too much sense for us not to bring Villa in. I mean, he knows the club, he loves the club. He's literally already said we're the only team outside of a top division where he will come back for, and we'll take a pay cut to sign. He's 33. He's still playing at a decent level. Like he's been playing it in the Europa League very recently, and he's also French. We've got that little French dynasty happening something right now with Bar, Sheesh, Pembele. There's a couple more I'm probably forgetting. Honestly, it would make sense, but probably not going to happen. But I think we still need an experienced player, to play alongside Daniel. Because for me, Ekwa is just... For me, when we do Ekwa, he even needs some time out of the team, or has to be pushed up into more of like a number 8. Because against Hull, Ekwa, he was so much better as a more not attacking midfielder, but he was as a less defense. Like, he had more ability to free roam, which I think he's much better doing. And if we are going to do that, for me, we need a proper experienced midfielder alongside Dan Neil. Like, we need a leader in that team. Because for me, O'Nien, he's not really captain material in my opinion. He's not really. For me, we are missing like a Corey Evans type name. To be fair, that's one thing you probably haven't fucking heard in a while. Corey Evans type midfielder where he's dictating the midfield, he's barking out orders, he's a leader. We need that type of player in the field. Whether that's Mbilla, whether that's somebody else, we don't know. And also, I think the main one really, a striker, a proper striker. I'm not necessarily saying that like an experienced name at this level, because obviously, as been proven already, that they're pretty tough to come by. I mean, even Joel Perrault, Leeds fans are already fucking sick of him. But obviously, whether that is Jay Stansfield, whether or not he'll actually leave Birmingham is one thing. But obviously, it's down to Fulham if I want to recall him. Again, obviously, Ipswich are showing interesting well. Obviously, George Hurst for them has been out injured as well, so he probably will fill in that slot at Ipswich as well, who are in a better position than us. So there's that. But, just an older striking, 27-ish. Not fucking Billy Sharp, right? I can't believe some of our fans were actually calling out the fucking signing me now. It was just stupid. A proper striker. Just someone who is a number 9 for starters, not just some weird little number 10 type striker from abroad. Proper number 9. He's got more than 100 appearances in his fucking career. This Japanese lad, I've got his name. He's been mentioned as well. Somebody who knows how to find the back of the net, who can make good runs, who can play up front on their own. Someone like that. And I get it. They don't grow on trees these days. They don't. But come on, surely we can get something like that. And then, of course, anywhere else that we may need to improve. But for me, those 4 positions are the main ones that they really will have to get reinforcements in. But yeah, that's it for me. So that's gonna be it for my thoughts on these transfers. Let me guys know if you agree or disagree. But yeah, that's been it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.